Aloha. Hi, Anna.
Aloha. Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to go.
What do you want to talk about?
I think we should talk about our bullshit meters. I have to say that I feel that my bullshit meter is highly refined. From decades of this.
You've been working on it a long
I know
time.
it's extremely developed to the point that I don't believe anything I hear unless I've completely dissected it and looked for every possible. And that's what I do when I hear something. I immediately look for the puka. Where's the hole? And then the second thing I do pertaining to politics is I look at their donors.
Following the money is key.
Yep.
You know, because that implies intention.
Right.
You know, and who they're working for.
But I think it's a good time to have the conversation of how other people could develop their bullshit meter, since a lot of people still don't believe that our government structure is as corrupt as it is. And I'm in the place where I think it's 100% corrupted.
Do I hear 101%?
If you can go over that, squared, 100% squared.
They're all corrupt. I mean,
Yeah.
It seems like every aspect is corrupt. It's all... Yeah, let's talk about our bullshit meters. I mean, for me, I always go to my gut feeling. That first feeling you get, and then, like you said, you can't really ignore that.
Right.
It's easy to override it.
Well, I think we're trained to do
with
that.
With logic.
And I think we're trained to do that. So that what we would call our na'au, or that gut feeling that something's not right, we're trained to override that.
Right.
And judge ourselves. And our minds give us all kinds of reasons why we shouldn't follow that instinct, and we should be nice. We should be polite.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be suspect of others.
Right.
We should have faith in...
We should be suspect of others.
Of everything you hear, for God's sake, especially now. So I think that's one thing, is that and the mind is so overdeveloped anyway.
Well, and it's overdeveloped, and I think people like to have an answer. Mm-hmm. Like for me, and I think you're the same way, it's okay to not know. Mm-hmm. Like I know what might not be true, but that doesn't mean I know the truth.
Right.
And I think for other people, it's like, well, that's not true, so this is.
Right, right.
And for me, I don't necessarily jump right to the other spectrum. Mm-hmm. It's like, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't mean I know what's true and what's really happening, but I know that doesn't feel right.
Right.
That doesn't sit right here, so that's not it.
And the more that you follow that, and the stronger you get that facility, what you call your gut feeling, or I call my na'au, the stronger you follow that, and the more you align with that, and you let that be the strengthening element, and that be the element that you follow, and that you let it guide you, the faster you do get to the truth.
I agree. And the more your na'au becomes developed.
Right, right. So I think that, I guess if I would tell people one thing, it is to get that relationship with that gut feeling or your na'au back again, and rely on that and trust it implicitly. It'll never lead you astray, especially with all these political things going on now. And it's so, and we can go down the list of ways that the political structure misinforms the public, and basically they lie to us.
Their top business 24/7.
They lie to us. We have to, it's legal now, right? Since 2012, it is
under
legal.
the Obama administration.
It is legal for the government to lie to the public.
Yep.
It's legal.
It was
so
the
we don't,
NDAA of 2011, which was signed into law for beginning 2012.
And it's been a part of the National Defense Authorization Act since that time. Mm-hmm. So it's legal. And that's why
it worse every year, I think.
They had to do it after Iraq because they lied, right? So they had to cover that.
Now it's okay.
And now it's okay to lie to us about everything. So we have to develop our bullshit meter. We have to develop.
It comes from within.
Yeah. The na'au, or what you call your gut feeling, so that we can start to stand up to that.
Mm-hmm.
And come back. And I find that as I do that with legislators and things like that in county council meetings or wherever I go, and I talk, when I'm telling the truth, there's no one can say anything. And I'm not always very articulate.
Crickets.
Yeah. But when you know, and when you're informed, and that you can only be informed if you follow your na'au and you get your facts together, because they're out there.
They're definitely out. You have to look for them sometimes. You
Yeah,
have to
but
really
there's some
find them.
sources that we can give that are, 3 or 4 sources that are pretty reliable where you can start to look for that. And we have them too. You can, we research what we talk about, so. But so, I think that bullshit meter, now as you call it, yep. We have to pay attention to that. You have to develop it and trust it implicitly.
And I think also it's not just understanding, trusting that. It's also questioning your mind.
Yes, yeah. It's like,
Right? Because
why do you want to, let that skate?
right, why do you
want to believe that? Why do you want to let someone else tell you?
Or for example, like so like you look at the yin yang symbol, right? And there's the good and the bad and the good, the black and the white and the black. And so nothing's all good and nothing's all black, right? And so yet we look at, just to compare Obama and Trump, and people are so easy to say Trump's all bad and Obama was all good. Yet history, if you look back at some of the things that the Obama administration did, they weren't all good.
And it would actually be the reverse. If we're looking just at actions.
Well, he has 8 more years. He has
Yeah.
7.5 more years of stuff he did.
Right.
So it's going to rack up.
Hopefully not. But yeah, I think you're right. But we shouldn't be going there yet then. Because he basically.
Because that's us projecting.
Yeah.
That's actually us projecting too.
Or it could be.
Responding
Number 2,
to gaslighting.
It could be so some of the ways that we're lied to legally, and a big tactic that's used is called gaslighting, and so you can look it up, but gaslighting is a form of manipulation that sows the seeds of doubt in individuals, members, and groups, hoping to make
an entire country.
Yeah, hoping to make targets us question our memory, our perception, and even our sanity. Gaslighting. It's one of the prime ways that we're lied to. It
is.
That are not always thrown off.
And it uses consistent storytelling and consistent re-storytelling.
Right.
And it's over and over again, and it's constant misdirection.
Right.
And
it's
like, truth is this way, but they want to keep taking us anywhere but towards
distracting. They want to so that we become psychologically and psychically distracted in another direction, so we can't see what's really happening.
Right, and it destabilizes its target, right?
The public.
And it destabilizes the public.
Right.
And that's exactly what Nazi Germany did.
Yes, it is. It was one of the premises of Goebbels' treatise, right?
Mm-hmm. It's rules of propaganda.
Yes.
And so, I guess I get worried when I see that everyone's following, these stories, and that they to me, it's like this groupthink, massive groupthink takes over.
And it's not even really a think. It's a group. I don't know what to call it. I mean, and I don't like to use those words because I find them demeaning, and I don't like to use it. But I do understand when we're described as lemmings and sheeple. I understand that now. I think it's demeaning, and I don't like to use those words. Right. But I understand what they're talking about when they're being led. They're being herded. People are just being herded. They're being herded to this sensationalized.
Yeah.
A story that has no substance and has no basis in reality, and then when that falls apart, and they
make up another one.
There's one. They already got another one to pull out because they know that there's no substance. But and it wears people out psychologically.
It does, and then people get overwhelmed, and they don't want to shut down more information,
and they shut. They don't want to
just read the headlines,
or not even do that.
Or not even do that.
And I know people that are saying that. I'm so sick of it. I'm not reading anything anymore. I don't want to hear it. And that's another.
And that's what they want.
Yeah, that's another way to disarm and wear out the public psyche.
And to split off the public psyche into factions, instead of let us unify for what is Pono and what is right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is combating all of this bullshit.
Right.
I'll tell you, my meter is like
mine is too.
The tsunami bullshit meter. The tsunami alarm is going off.
And one of the benefits, I think, of really developing that, and I don't enjoy what's going on, but I do enjoy developing the skills of critical thinking and of just being able to pick it up right away and call it and know where the resources are to pull it out. So once you start doing that, it's, of course, there's other things that probably might be more fun, but it's not
for other people.
Yeah, really, right?
My worry now is that those resources will not be available
because of the net neutrality, right?
It's like,
but then I think someone else will come up with something, so you can only do so much. But there's a sense of accomplishment, or there's an ability, I think, to be able to decipher that, there's something empowering about not being led all over the place. Even if you're not going to really go anywhere with it or do anything, just not being herded psychologically.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of empowerment in that. So I think it's important for people to take that step to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
To take care of your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get enough sleep, eat right,
and
take care of yourself.
Have that relationship with that part of yourself that you're individuated. And you can't be herded. You're not going to, swallow all of that whole without looking at what's in there.
I think that's why we get along so well, is because we really look at a lot of different sources.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we do honor ourselves and
right.
what we think. And we don't always agree. We definitely don't always agree with people who are out there. And that's really important. You have to be okay with not always agreeing with the masses, I mean...
I'm not.
You've always been that way.
Well, and I'm not a Trump fan, but I'm not out to get him. Right. I'm neutral about that. I'm not any political leader's fan. I just, somewhere along the line, there's somewhere that I'm going to catch him. So I reserve that. I don't go all in on anyone. I'm an atheist, except for.
She's a political atheist.
I am, except I'm going to give probably my heart to the Aloha Aina Party, because their platform, I think I love it, and we need something in Hawaii, so I'm probably going to go there. But other than that, I'm really neutral.
It's
I think
good place to be.
It's important because what's going on now
it's a good place to be.
It's crazy.
I'm not attached to what happens with either party. To me, it feels like they're both going down because of all this gaslighting, red baiting.
Remember, you're probably too young to remember this, but I'm sure people my age can relate to this. When we would have drills in school and you would have to hide under your desk because the Russians were going to bomb us. We had regular drills in school. That's how bad the red baiting got when I was growing up.
And my name is Tanya Yamanaka. I'm half Russian and half Japanese. I was very popular when we studied World War II.
Oh my God. And then I remember realizing, what that meant. Because when you're little, it was like fun to hide under your desk and you didn't have to do all that stuff and, school and all of that. And it was this big
grow
thing.
up and realize.
Well, then one day I was like, I asked my parents, why are we doing that? Oh, because of war and that was my, I guess, part of my innocence was gone after that, because then I wanted my parents to build us a bomb shelter. And other people did that. I am serious. They built bomb shelters.
Make sure you have your Campbell's soup and Spam.
Right? And, grandmas and grandpas were preserving food and hiding them in their bomb shelters. Red baiting. It was
real.
And it's insanity.
And now it's red and blue baiting.
Well, I think the Russia thing is really crazy.
Yeah,
this whole nonsense of
it's crazy.
It's crazy, and we'll talk about that another time. But that serves a whole other insane purpose to more imperialism for the United States.
I say know your own empire within.
Exactly.
Empowered versus empired.
Yep. And have that meter tuned up. And then the regular care and feeding of your tune.
And it does have it has to be regularly cared and fed for, because otherwise it's very easy to fall back into the head. We're so programmed to go back into our head and go, no, but this person said this and this person said this, and it starts going over and it totally discounts what it's telling you.
And I think there, for the masses, which we're a part of, we're trained at a really young age to turn that off. and to turn away from it.
I'll tell you a really good example is whenever you're talking about something about the environment, where in your heart and your gut will tell you that what's best is what's best for the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in your mind, you'll be like, oh, but there's jobs, there's money to be made. There's, that company's doing good things. They employ all these people. And so it's very easy for people to go back into their head and justify why you would discount what you actually feel more in alignment with.
Right. And if you really have that level of alignment with your Na'au, you would know that you don't have to compromise that way either, because there's a fourth way and a fifth way and a sixth way and a seventh way to manifest those things without having to compromise on anything.
Your principles.
Yeah. And the Aina.
And the alignment
and our human family.
Exactly.
There's
other options.
Yes.
There's not just
an
one
infinite,
or two options.
There's infinite options for available
There's infinite
to us.
options. Unfortunately, most people in Congress probably don't subscribe to
there's
that
only
philosophy
one.
of life. Right, there's only one
way.
Or there's two, and then one is red and one is blue, and you got to do one of them.
Yeah, and if you're
nothing's going to happen.
If you're a bluey, you got to stay on that end, and if you're a red, you got to stay on that side. And they fight each other the entire time.
Go rainbow! Go purple.
Right. And the whole thing is just one big beef. And the whole idea
you like beef?
Yeah. taking care of the people doesn't usually even enter the conversation. It's really that power play that plays itself out there.
And if the story's full of vague and ambiguous, right, information...
I'm going to give you a good one.
Okay.
I'll give you a good one. Pohakaloa. But they're protecting us from North Korea. I just heard that the other day. Well, how are we going to protect ourselves if we don't continue to do the things we do at Pohakaloa? And that's replicated not only here, it's replicated in Oahu and Kauai and all over the world.
All over the world.
And expanding. So we have to kill in order to save. We have to destroy in order to build. We have to, and that's really that insanity.
The end does not justify the means.
And that insanity
of a kid, I mean, it's like violence, right?
Yeah. And we have to have violence to have peace in the world. We have to destroy other countries to bring democracy. We have to, that alone should just make your Na'au so upset that you want to throw up when you hear that incongruence.
I mean, if we don't have democracy in our own country, I don't know how we can force it upon other countries.
Right.
So, that even logically doesn't even make sense.
And that's the point. When it's that incongruent that your mind is going off, then your meter should be going off. Your Na'au should be just squeezing. And your stomach should be sore when you walk away.
Yeah, the bullshit meter kind of goes hand in hand with the hypocrisy meter.
Right, exactly. They might be the same thing.
They are today, in the modern world.
Yeah. So that, I think, one of the, when it's that incongruent. When you go to school for 8 hours and you're still illiterate when you graduate. I mean, our meters should be going off about our educational system. Hello.
They are. I think people just are overwhelmed on what to do about it. Yeah. Don't worry, Betsy DeVos is going to handle it.
Yeah. Thank you, Bets.
Thank you, Bets.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm Tanya. I hope this has been helpful.
And I'm Anna. We're the Paradise Patriots.
Love ya.
Aloha.